Buonasera, and really is a pleasure for me to be here and to have the possibility, the opportunity to present my book, and the translation of my book was really fresh because only 2 days ago was writing the book, so it's really a big opportunity for me. I decided to participate to this conference. It was in Nairobi, in Kenya, in 2006, and it was really the first time that I heard something about the negotiation on climate change. I was a little bit shocked to see some Italian journalist that was joking, was playing with the smartphone, with the mobile phone at that time, or the microphone. You know, in the main press room, you may imagine hundreds of journalists from every part of the world. Was an Italian journalist playing with the smartphone, the music on the microphone. And I was shocked because I was spending all my time trying to study, to understand this book, what was the main topics of the negotiation. And I saw this person playing on the microphone. Obviously, it was only one bad example. It was also a very good example of Italian journalists playing very well, working very well. But these things opened my mind and helped me to realize that a lot of journalists was not really expert on climate change, but was people working in other area, completely different area. Then for 1 week, 2 weeks, they were sent to the United Nations conference, and then they write something, reading the press release, listening some words in the discussion, but without to have knowledge on climate change. And then I decided at that time to follow it more, the climate change negotiation, and start to work also as a journalist. In 1980, let me say, there was scientists, saying that the climate change was really important problem for the world, and there was other scientists saying that no, it's not a problem, everything is fine. The climate is changing always along the time. There is no problem at all. So, and the politicians was in the condition to hear two different voices from the scientists. One says the climate is changing, is very dangerous, and the other one says, don't worry, everything is okay. And then this created the need to have some common voice from the part of the scientists. And this group prepared some report every 5-6 years, and one of these reports, it was in 2007, it was the fourth evaluation report, says something very interesting. It says that climate warming is unequivocal. So scientists, not normal people like us that say something, it's scientists that is unequivocal. And it's currently evident from the observation of the rise in average air in the oceans, temperature, the widespread melting of snow and glaciers, and the global sea level rise. So they are saying, not look in the future, but looking back in the past. And they say, we have data, 3 sets of data, one on temperature, one on ice, one on the rise level of the ocean. They are demonstrating without any doubt, the climate is changing. Okay, so now we look more in deep how these 3 data show the climate is changing. And we start with temperature. This is an animation from NASA, NASA. And then you see, after 1970, how the situation is changing. So I showed this exactly the same animation to the children 8 years old. They understand immediately how the situation is, because it's very easy to understand. But there are also other information very useful from this animation. First of all, that we see that the change is not always the same in all parts of the world, because it's different, maybe higher in some level, that we discuss later about the north, and lower, less in other points. So we need to take care that the north part of the world is more red, so the temperature is increased more than in southern part of the world, and we'll see later the reason. But we also see there was some area on the middle of Atlantic Ocean that is white, and also here is white or blue. It means that the temperature increases less here. Why? Because there is the melting of the ice here, putting cold water on the ocean, and also from the Greenland, Greenland, the same situation. So in some way, it's increasing the situation, giving the situation worse. Here is another important image. Australia, 2013. The meteorologists in Australia create a new color here because this temperature was never recorded before. So for the first time, they record this temperature, and they need to change the scale of color to introduce a new color. Okay, I tell you the story before, and then we try to fix the point. Probably you don't know this person, but he's a famous scientist in Italy because it's Nobel Prize. It's Rubbia is the name, but it's Nobel Prize on the physica of particelle.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know how to say in English. And he's speaking, you see the S on the top. He's speaking on the Senate. In front of him, there is an environmental minister. He's speaking in front of the environmental minister and says, okay, guy, climate change doesn't exist because in the last 14 years, the temperature doesn't increase, was stable, was decreased a little bit. So I'm saying to you, to the environmental minister, that this is not a problem. It was in 2014, not 100 years ago. And the environmental minister was not able to react at this moment to this sentence. It is shocking. It's shocking because it shows two different things. One is that this person was saying something wrong and something was misinterpreted. But the most dangerous thing is that this person was Nobel Prize. Was Nobel Prize for another story, but was Nobel Prize in any case.
Not Donald Trump.
No, exactly, it was Nobel Prize. And I may show you some articles the day after that say, also Rubbia says that climate is not changing. Unbelievable. And he was describing this situation. This is 2000, okay, this is from football. This is 2014. So he was speaking before the end of the year, was around here. This is different years, was here situation. He was describing the situation here. It says that this situation was not increasing. It was not true, but okay, we may say there was no increasing. But was it very, I want to use a better word. What was really surprising me is that he was considering this part of time as representative of the evolution of the time. While when you look at climate, 10 years is nothing. You have to think about 15, 20 years to understand how the trend is going on. And then the same situation was decreasing here. But if you go back, instead to look only 10 years, and you look at the trend, it's quite clear the situation is growing and the temperature is growing. And then we have to say also that Rubbia was not really lucky person, because of 2014, at the end of the year, was the hottest years never recorded before, the hottest. And 2015, the year after, was worst. And 2016 was again worst. So, and this unbelievable situation is that this person, this scientist, was speaking in front of our environmental minister, but we will be not the only one. And now we go to the other point, the second point that is important to underline, that is no more temperature, but it's the increasing of the ocean level. And again, the situation is quite clear. The trend is clear, and also it's clear that every 3 years we have the increasing of 1 centimeter of the level of ocean. 1 centimeter every 3 years, and the 3 years and the centimeter again. And the third point is the ice. Against, okay, this is another interesting, we will see. I will tell you the story. Do you recognize him? No, yes. But in 2014 was not so famous. Nigel Farage was the leader of the Brexit. At that time, he was speaking in the environmental European Parliament. I will say that climate was not changing because he has very important proof, and probably will be a little bit later. He's showing always the image of NASA again. Here it is. He showed 2013 and 2014. He said, okay, in comparison with the previous year, the extension is increased a lot. So it increased 60% more than previous year. So this is the proof the climate is not changing. It's so clear because 60% more than previous years. And now we see the same image, but with animation going through different years. And then you will see that the situation stay quite stable, going a little bit in the direction of a reduction, but you may see also the image on the back of the ice, the minimum extension in the summer, Arctic summer, and then situation fall down. And now we will see here is example, the comparison between this year and this year. It doesn't care about the trend. It takes again a single year to extrapolate some conclusion. Okay, and then a new question comes, but how is the perception of the scientist? Daniele Pernigotti is saying some story that is only promoted by a few persons, or the scientists are agree on some on this conclusion. And then I like to show you and study between 1 year, November 2012 and December 2013, on 2,258 study peer review published in the scientific magazine, let me say, by 9,136 authors. Only one was rejected the responsibility of human being on climate change. And here there is one important part of the problem, because when we move from the scientific publication to the normal newspaper, this percentage changed completely, radically. And you have the perception that 50% is say that the human being is responsible, and the 50% think it's not responsible. And this connection between the scientists and the normal journalist that create big part of the problem. In television, two persons, one says one thing, the other says the other things. You may create the doubt. You may give the doubt to the people that is looking at television. And there was a really interesting story. It was created by Oliver, an American journalist, that invited the study. One person saying that human being was responsible for climate change, and the other one says the opposite. But before to say the first question, he says, okay, sorry, now one more person come to support the no responsibility of human being, and 97 comes from the other side to show 98 against 2. And the study was invited by people on this side. And this was the way to show how was this difference from the scientific perspective. This is long animation, and we may translate the part, single part, and you will see the concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere. Then you see each year, the red line is each year, how it's going up and down. And then you have average here, showing that in any case the average is growing a little bit up. Now you see the years going on, 1992, etc. And then we see a lot of dots here, and a single dot is the same that is on the map of the world. is when the CO2 is measured. And then you see that passing the years, the number is increasing because we are always more aware, or we have always more knowledge about the concentration. Another important thing is that this is the equator, this is south, and this is north. And then you see that in the north part of the world, the change of concentration between the winter and the summer is a little bit more accelerated, is larger. It means that it's changing, is varying a lot more from summer than winter. But the south part is moving a little bit, but the average is going always up, but with different mood. And this was the measured CO2. But now we go back with the ice core. We go to understand how was the situation in the past, look in the ice. Because if you go in Antarctic, where there is always temperature below zero, the snow is covering at the snow, and then it becomes ice. And then you have the history if you go back indeed. And then we have 80,000 years, 100,000 years, so a lot of years ago. And then we arrive quite soon in 800,000 years, the most deep ice core in the Antarctic, showing the concentration of CO2 in the last 800 years. I have to stop because otherwise. Okay, great. So and this is representing the ice, the glacial and interglacial era. Homo sapiens is around here. So this is the dimension of this image. And then you will see that the concentration stay always between 100, 200 and 280, let me say. Here, the variation, the natural variation. And then we discover the fossil fuel, and the orange line, I don't know if I will be able to arrive to the top, is there, is where we are now. This is an animation, always by NASA, of 1 year of CO2 emission. And we need to understand 2-3 interesting things. First of all, that the emission, the main emission of CO2 is in the USA, in Europe, and in China. But obviously there is no border for CO2, so the CO2 is moving around the world, mainly in the north part of the hemisphere. And we see that in the south part there is more sea, ocean, and less area where people is living, and this is one of the reasons because there is less CO2 emission in the south. But now we are in June, and the situation is changing, and the red becomes yellow, green, and now becomes back blue again. It means the concentration is going down in the north hemisphere. And this change from winter to summer is exactly the explanation that we will see in a few seconds, the real reason, that we saw before in the CO2 concentration this side. It was going up and down between winter and summer. Here is the explanation. In this case, the CO2 is brown, and the forest growing is green. And then we see that in this area, there is always forest taking CO2. But in the north hemisphere, when we have a large extension of forest that is living only in the summer, that is dying, it's not doing photosynthesis in the winter. So the difference is that we are always emitting, but the forest is uptaking CO2 all in the summer. It seems to be like, in South America they say Pachamama, like the world is breathing. So we saw the actual situation. Now we have a look in the future. How we may change the situation in the future. And we have two potential scenarios. So the scientists identify more scenarios, but this is the worst scenarios and the best scenarios. Okay, worst scenario means that we don't care about climate change. It's not a problem for us. So we go at home, we go to work tomorrow, and then we do the same things in the same way, and also other countries in the world will do the same in the same way. So business as usual. We continue in the existing situation, and the situation will arrive at the end of the century with around 4 degrees more than before industrial era. Or we do all is in our power to do with existing technology, with existing condition, and then we will be able to keep the increase of temperature within 1.5. Somebody says that it's too late now because we are already here, but okay, this is a scenario. And this is 2 scenarios, worst scenarios or best scenarios, in terms of water, rise level of ocean. It means that if we do anything, we stay with the business as usual, we will arrive around the 70, 80 centimeters more than the before industrial area. No, for now, sorry. And if we do all is possible in our capacity, we will have in any case 40 centimeters. It means that 40 centimeters will be the minimum increase of rise of the sea level. Okay, this is because the ocean is taking a lot of heating inside, and then it will be released. The concept of peak. You may imagine a space, a container of water, and then I take this container and I put 1 liter per time. But we have a finished amount of water that we stay in the container. And then if I continue to put 1 liter, at the end I finish all the space. If I able to reduce the amount of water all the time that I put in the container, I will need more time to fill the container. So the concept is that we need to reverse the amount of CO2 we put in the atmosphere, because the atmosphere is a finished space. And then if we want to fulfill the space, we need to decrease the amounts. And the meaning of this graph is that if we start to reduce the amount of water, our liter, in 2011, it means that we'll have more time to fulfill our target. But if we wait a lot, if we wait until 2020, then the container will be almost full, and then we need to decrease radically the amount of water. And you know, the liter that we have at this moment is 35 billion of tons that we put every year on the atmosphere. 35 billion of tons. And here is the situation. This is the amount of CO2 that was emitted at the worldwide level, and you may see, I don't know if I will be able to indicate on the top here, that in some way we have reduced. So there was growing a lot, our liter, but now we decreased for 2-3 years. So the situation seems to be stable. And the explanation of this change is mainly due to this change. It is China. China is reducing the growth. But we have 2 different explanations. One is that China reduced the economical growth in the last year. And the other one is China is taking action to reduce emission. So the point is, it will be the same situation in 2008, when we have economical crisis at the international level, and then the growth start again, or we are really on the peak? And this is the main question we need to solve. Okay, we need to run a lot in the political part, so we need to reduce the funny part of the presentation. But I only want to show something. Something we will face. We know Bush Senior, and this person signed the UNFCCC. So USA was accepting this convention, and the Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, was signed prepared in 1992, a lot of years ago. The other point is about the responsibility Because you know, this beautiful place is Tuvalu, is a place where we would like to stay, to be now, everybody, is becoming here, like this one. And Tuvalu doesn't know to who ask for compensation, which is the relation between who caused the problem and who paid the consequences. Two points is important. The difference between developed and developing countries, because developed country emitted in the past, fulfilled with the water in the past. And the other point is historical responsibility, that you may say with the beautiful imagine. Who emitted more is larger, who emitted less is smaller. But here is who is paying more for climate change. Less emission, but they pay more. Okay, we go very fast. Here, the Kyoto Protocol, we already know the Kyoto Protocol, we know that USA approved the Kyoto Protocol in Kyoto, but then the Senate blocked the ratification, and then USA was out of the Kyoto Protocol. Bali, 2007. Why is important Bali? Because just at the beginning of the Bali, the COP, the first, the conference of 2007, this person was elected Prime Minister in Australia, Kevin Rudd. After 15 days, the first political act of this person was to ratify the Kyoto Protocol. Why? Because in that year, the summer, Australian summer, it was the worst drought in the century, and the people understand what the climate change means. In 2008, something other important change at the international level, and then we arrived 2009, the conference in Copenhagen, and the secretary of UNFCCC, Ivo de Boer, says that there was no B plan for the Copenhagen Agreement, but he fails, and the NGO said there is no planet B. It's more crucial. And in Copenhagen, there was for the first time, it was not only the environment minister, but there was also chief of states and prime minister, 120. The only offer coming from the politician was offered $30 billion to the poor countries. But the famous Tuvalu, that we saw before, says that they refused to betray his people for 30 dinars, and they don't accept the agreement. Then we ran immediately to Paris 2015, after other 4 years of negotiation. You know, the years is going on. We started in 1992, now we go in 97 with Kyoto Protocol, then we are to Bali, then we are to Copenhagen, then we arrive at the end in the Paris Agreement 2015. But this is very important. Before the Paris Agreement, 3 months before, there was a bilateral agreement between USA and China, and they was supporting a bilateral agreement to reduce CO2 emission. Just 2 weeks after this agreement, or 1 month, I don't remember exactly, Obama decided to delete the, how was the name? Sto pensando in italiano. The Keystone pipeline connecting Canada with the USA oil pipeline. And Obama also stopped all the research in the Arctic area to search for the new oil. The point of the Paris Agreement was that everybody was volunteer to propose their own reduction. There was no rules, but everybody says, okay, tomorrow evening there is a party to my house, please, everybody comes. And you may come with wine, with food, everything. And you put your commitment on the table. So each country may do the voluntary action, and at the end of the day, you say, how much is the action? How much we may reduce the CO2 emission? And the answer is that
with this commitment, we will have the increasing of temperature of 2.7 degrees. Okay, now we go to the conclusion, because otherwise we are on time. There will be some space to better explain the main content of the Paris Agreement. What is important that the Kyoto Protocol needs from 1997 to 2005 to be ratified, 8 years. The plan for the Paris Agreement was to have ratification in 2 years. It was ratified in less than 1 year, November 2016. I may say that humanity is more scared about climate change. The example of Australia is quite clear. And also that the evidence of climate change is now really under the eyes of everybody. It's not only in Africa, in the Sahel, Somalia, when they have a really strong drought, but it's in the normal life. I am coming from Italy, and now we have a water emergency in Italy. You know, normally in that period of time we have the snow melting from the mountain, from the Alps. There was no snow this year, and there was the sources of water is almost empty. So I believe that the awareness of normal people increase a lot, and the awareness of political people is also increased a lot, and then we know that we have no more time to discuss. I may say that we need to work from two different directions, bottom up and top down. So we need to be aware citizen and to have clever political guiding us. I'm quite focused in one aspect in particular, that is mobility. Because mobility is the only sector that is increasing the CO2 emission in Europe, for example. So it's the area where are always growing our emission, and we need to take strong action in this direction. It implies how we decide to move every day, but also how the government is facilitating the transportation. Another important point is the thermal insulation of the house. It's very, very important. But always it's not easy. I live in an apartment. I'm not able to convince the other people living in the building to do the insulation. I know that it's very important, but I was not able to say, okay, we have to spend money because we will save money in the future. No way. So I know the solution, but I don't have in this case, the possibility to do it. We discussed about Trump, for example, and then everybody was really shocked when Trump decided to withdraw the Paris Agreement. But the situation was not so easy for him, because he had inside of his circle of consultant or consigliere, people they was saying, no, we need to stay in the Paris Agreement. There was the daughter Ivanka and her husband, but not only that, also Tillerson, that is a very important person. Tillerson is an ex-CEO of Exxon. Exxon was one of the biggest climate skeptics in the last 20-30 years. And this time, Tillerson is asking Trump to stay in the Paris Agreement. Because Exxon invested in gas, natural gas, because know that the fossil fuel is going in one direction and Trump was going in the direction of the coal. So the situation is not easy for them. But the important thing is that after the action of Trump, the level of awareness in USA grew a lot. It's like hockey stick. You see, the awareness is more or less at this level and then grow up. And then we had yesterday Schwarzenegger that met Macron and say together, make great the planet again, to rephrase the sentence of Trump. And a lot of governors, a lot of measures in USA and business are pushing against Trump. In China, they decided that, I believe, 10%, I'm not sure about the percentage, 10% of the vehicles that will be sold from the next year in China must be electric vehicles. And India, in this moment, has the cost of the solar panel that is lower of the cost of energy generated by coal. So the situation is changing very quickly, and I have no doubt that there is no way to go back. The only point is about the speed of this change. We need to underline the criticity, say that beef is very dangerous for climate change, and say we need to reduce a lot the consumption of beef. If somebody will decide to change drastically and go in the direction of fish or vegan or vegetarian, it's a personal choice. But I don't want to push a personal choice like the choice, the solution of the problem. Okay, I repeat again that I'm not a scientist, but I have to say that there is, my understanding is not these possibilities. You know, the discussion will be if we may reverse the, how's the name? Gulf Stream. Not the Gulf Stream, but the belt, okay, the big belt of oceans moving the temperature. It's not really the good explanation, but I hope that you understand the point. But I don't believe there is this kind of possibilities. Personally, I'm a fan of carbon tax because I believe it's the clever way to increase the cost of CO2 and so indirectly to limit the emission in a simple way. You know, in Europe we have emission trading scheme. It's quite a complex system, and I don't want now to go into detail, but it's really costing a lot, asking a lot of resources, but at the same time it's not producing big results. So personally I'm a support of carbon tax. In UK they created the Stop Climate Chaos. It was an association of association, not of people, of association. There was association of environmentalists, students, woman, religious association, all kind of different association put together in one main association. And I don't remember the number, but it should be more than 100 of association, and the number of indirectly adherent participant people was huge. And when they go to the door of Tony Blair and say, please, Tony Blair, we are Stop Climate Chaos, and we are asking you to do something, and remember that in 2 years you will have election. And then Tony Blair unilaterally commit UK to reduce 40% of CO2 emission. And then Gordon Brown arrived later and he commit 60% of reduction unilaterally. So absolutely, the power of the association is great. In particular in this moment when the participation to the, I don't know in Romania, but in Italy at least, the participation to the political life is very low, I believe that the association has a lot of possibility to influence the policymakers. Going back to Trump, you know, one option is that he will withdraw the Paris Agreement. The other option is that he will go out from the UNFCCC. It seems to be that if USA will withdraw UNFCCC, we'll have no more the international legislation umbrella, and that is protecting all countries to be prosecuted. So if we go out from UNFCCC, Tuvalu may ask USA to
pay compensation.
Yes, pay compensation, yes. We may push the political to change choice, but we may also use the money to push the market to go in different direction. And there was one very important campaign, it was a divest campaign. It was asking everybody to not fund, not invest, not spend money in the direction of company that was implicated, that was connected with the fossil fuel. Because they say you need to take away the water, without water this animal, if you want to succeed. So absolutely, the use of the money is an important way to be coherent in this area. Thank you, Maria. I want to have your card. No, it's really, I will write you. No, because